What brings us together, I would call love of music. And my model is the musical instrument. To me, material possessions are not that important, but musical instruments are. And for a musician, your instrument is part of your musical expression. You know, it's not just a thing, it's integral. And when you find the instrument that really fulfills you, that's it. You're not looking to upgrade it or trade it or sell it. You just play it. And my model for audio has always been the musical instrument. And my wish is to make equipment that you love, the way a musician loves an instrument. It's not just a box or a thing or, you know, that you buy like an electrical appliance. It's something that you really love. And you love because it enhances your love of music. And that's sort of been my driving force over the years with my different companies. And with Daniel Hertz, I would say it's even more so, because in the past, we used the best technology that we could get, you know, from catalogs like everybody else. But with Daniel Hertz, we had to build our own. You know, we made our own semiconductors, our own firmware, software, electronic architecture, and speakers. It was just, you know, it's really going deep. And that kind of work is what people do when they make musical instruments, you know, trying to make the best instruments that they can. So it's all coming from that place. I guess I just want to explain where it's coming from. The only reason, I think, to have a piece of Daniel Hertz equipment is if you really love it. Otherwise, no point. And all the people in my team feel that way. You know, they're all passionate and very dedicated. And we really appreciate your interest. So when you think of music, it's not just the repertoire or the musician, it's also the instruments. And I see ourselves as kind of like musical instrument makers in a way, except that it's audio equipment. Let's say music reproducing equipment makers, maybe. When I started to make Daniel Hertz equipment, I decided to make one amplifier. The reason for that is I wanted to make the best amplifier that I could. If it was the best, why would I make another one? And if it wasn't the best, why make it? So I decided to make one amplifier called Maria, but to make it in two versions, 2-channel and 4-channel, so that people could biamplify if they want to. But the idea was just to make one. And, you know, before Maria, I was making very big, heavy, expensive monoblock amplifiers. And when we started working with this new technology, a lot of people told me, don't use it. Make those big, heavy amplifiers. That's what people want to buy. They're not going to buy this lightweight, compact stuff. But I thought that it wouldn't be honest of me, because people trust me. And if I say that something is the best that I can do, people would believe me, and I don't want to lie. And this new technology, in my opinion, is just so much more like real music. It's so much more alive that I just had to use it. Now, why is that? Well, the heart of it is a new semiconductor. Don't forget, almost all audio equipment today is made with technology from the 1960s and 70s. That's all you can buy. So this semiconductor is really something out of the box. But it's not just a circuit board, it's actually a new semiconductor from the ground up. It takes years of time and millions of dollars to develop a semiconductor. And what Mighty Cat is, it's a new way of amplifying a signal. It's not normal transistors, it's not normal class D, it's not vacuum tubes, it's something new. And you can be the judge yourself, but to me, it just feels more like live music. It has that vitality. It's like if Al Di Meola came right where you are right now and sat in front of you and played acoustic guitar for you, you would know it's live. It's not coming from a speaker. You feel that energy, that vitality. I want to try to get that to come out of a speaker. That's what I've always wanted. But now I think we're making some serious progress, and the core of that is this Mighty Cat chip. It's just an amazing amplifier. You know, it's a whole new concept in how you amplify sound. And instead of having all these separate components with their separate power supplies and their output stages and input stages and cables and all the rest of it, it's all happening in a piece of silicon this big. You have your digital analog conversion without a separate DAC. It's just this clean, fast signal path. And for some reason, it just got me. And I said, we have to use it. So that's the core of Maria. But the absolute rock core of Daniel Hertz is C-wave, which stands for continuous wave. Now, where did this come from? Well, there's two parts. There's the subjective and there's the objective. When digital was introduced in the 1970s, a lot of people like me were not that excited about it. I tried to copy my analog tapes to digital and I was very disappointed, but nobody could fix it. And in the end, we discovered that the problem is actually not the audio. It's the way that the human brain responds to the signal. That's because pure analog is based on a continuous waveform. And digital is based on a sampled waveform, right? So you have these samples with spaces in between. So it's not continuous. It's on, off. And that creates a stress response in people, a stress response in the brain. And you can measure it consistently, repeatably, and you can document it every time. It's not my opinion. It's not a theory. It's just a measurement, like frequency response. You can just measure it. And that's why people often say, well, digital is cold or it's analytical and analog is warm and so forth and so on. But anyway, my mission for over 15 years has been to solve this problem so that we have pure analog sound and emotion from digital, because stress stops emotion. It also lowers the immune system. It's not very good for you. So the idea is, how do we fix digital? And the C-wave solves the problem with a very finely tuned reverb algorithm. Hard to hear. It's very subtle. It's not a sound effect. You can't, it's extremely subtle. But your brain is not stressed. It feels that it's a continuous waveform. So it's a different listening experience. And with C-wave embedded in the Mighty Cat chip, Maria fixes all signals on the fly, wherever they come from. Music files, streaming, movies, YouTube, whatever you got. And that's the real revolution. So, that's just like a brief, summary of that. But it's important that you know that Daniel Hertz is going out of the box. It's very disruptive, and it's normal to have questions. It's normal to have concerns, but I'll tell you, it's all in the listening. And thanks so much for coming and being part of it.